the problem here is not exclusively with same-sex marriage. Gays and lesbians did not cause the breakdown of the family.
Then why are you treating gays and lesbians as though they would cause the earth to fall into the sun?
The hookup culture, the epidemic of pornography, premarital sex, non-marital childbearing,
those things already existed more than 6,000 years before the sexual revolution. And yes, I mean more than 6,000 years before, because the earth is way older than 6,000 years old, contrary to what you want everyone to believe. Also, some of those things such as premarital sex and non-marital childbearing were probably more common in ancient times than now, due to the lack of contraception and the popularity of raping enemy women after victories.
High rates of divorce, these are all heterosexual problems, because heterosexuals bought into a bad ideology about marriage and the family.
Heterosexuals are not a collective, they are a demographic. They can't collectively make decisions.
It starts with the 60s. It starts with the sexual revolution. It starts with the idea that consenting adults should do whatever consenting adults want to do.
If it doesn't negatively affect anyone, which isn't the case for many marriages in Bible times and the currently deeply religious Islamic world.
That marriage should last as long as the love lasts. That the desires of adults are all that matter. The kids will be all right.
I agree that ending a marriage just because of feelings is an irresponsible thing to do, especially when there are kids involved. But there are some marriages in which both individuals should be separated, such as in the case of domestic violence.
To quote a popular movie title.
I hope that wasn't a misquote.
So the question now, though, is, does legally redefining marriage strengthen it or weaken it?
We're talking about legalizing same-sex marriage. How is that the same as or related to the redefinition of heterosexual marriage?
Does it make the institution of marriage stronger and more protective of the next generation, or does it further go down this train of the sexual revolution?
Gay and lesbian couples are incapable of having children by themselves due to biological limitations. Thus, most of them will have no children and thus have little significant influence on the next generation. The same cannot be said for the Australian Christian lobby, who are constantly pushing for regressive policies based on religious doctrine which will stifle the freedoms of the next generation. They are also trying to force lies such as creationism into schools, thus preventing the next generation from positively contributing to society and improving it.
So the cultural redefinition of marriage is what has now set us on the precipice of a legal redefinition of marriage. If you think the past 40 or 50 years of sexual practices and of family arrangements have been good,
none of which relates to the legalization of gay marriage,
they've been an improvement, then by all means keep going and solidify that into your law.
Most Western countries already have.
But if you think they've been problematic, that they've left broken hearts and broken homes in their wake, you might want to reconsider before rushing to redefine this central institution of human life.
First of all, family structures differ between cultures, and so not all children are brought up exclusively by a mother and father. In some cultures, aunts, uncles, and grandparents play a part in raising the children. In others, such as in some hunter-gatherer groups, children are raised communally. So no, your idea of marriage, which results in one mother and one father raising children, is not the central institution of human life. Now for the more important part. What you're literally saying in this video is legalizing same-sex marriage requires a redefinition of marriage. Therefore, because divorce rates among heterosexuals and the number of single-parent families increased after the last time marriage was redefined, we shouldn't legalize same-sex marriage. Despite the fact that the last redefinition was concerned with the flexibility in practices in heterosexual relationships, while the other is concerned with expanding the classification of marriage to include homosexual couples, both of which are totally different issues. Do you know how asinine your train of logic is?